For the first time on television, this is Prince.
One thing I'd like to say is that I don't live in a prison, and I'm not afraid of anything. I'm just like anyone else. I need love and water, and I don't really consider myself a superstar. I haven't built any walls around myself. I live in a small town, and I always will, because I can walk around and be me. That's all I want to be, and that's all I ever tried to be. I just try to do my best.
On March 31st, 1987, Prince released his 9th studio album, Sign of the Times, to critical acclaim. Prior to the album's conception and release, Prince had actually been working on 2 other projects. An album with his band The Revolution titled Dream Factory, which saw the band having more creative input, and a solo concept album titled Camille, in which he would assume an androgynous persona and primarily sing in a sped-up female-sounding voice. However, The Revolution would eventually be dissolved, and Prince consolidated both projects into a 3-LP album titled Crystal Ball. Prince's label, Warner Brothers, forced him to trim the album down even further, and the result was Sign of the Times. Though not as commercially successful as Purple Rain, Sign of the Times was still Prince's most acclaimed album. Included in many lists of the greatest albums of all time, it has been appraised by many critics as Prince's best album, even ahead of Purple Rain. The album was supported by Prince classics such as the socially conscious title track, as well as If I Was Your Girlfriend, which itself seemed to be a remnant of Prince's scrapped Camille album. The next album intended for release was the Black Album. More instrumental and funk and R&B themed than recent releases, the Black Album saw Prince experiment with hip-hop for the first time. Prince was set to release the album with a monochromatic black cover with only the catalog number printed, but after 500,000 copies had been pressed, Prince had a spiritual epiphany that the album was evil and had it recalled. Prince would go back into the studio for approximately 8 weeks and recorded Lovesexy. Released on May 10th, 1988, Lovesexy serves as a spiritual opposite to the dark Black Album. Despite being critically acclaimed, Lovesexy only reached number 11 on the Billboard 200, Prince's first album since 1981's controversy not to crack the top 10. The cover caused some controversy upon its release as it depicts Prince in the nude. Some record stores refused to stock it or wrap the album all in black. In 1989, after collaborating with Madonna on her 4th studio album, Like a Prayer, Prince began work on several more musical projects. But all of his work would ultimately be put on hold when he was approached by director Tim Burton to compose music for his then upcoming film. The film in question was none other than 1989's Batman.
Vicky Vale.
Bruce Wayne.
Nice outfit.
Lieutenant, is there a 6-foot bat in Gotham City?
I have given a name to my pain.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
As my plastic surgeon always said, if you gotta go, go with a smile.
My life is really complex. Winged freak terrorizes. Wait till they get a load of me.
The 1989 Batman film was the first in Warner Brothers' initial series of Batman films, being followed by 3 sequels: Batman Returns in 1992, Batman Forever in 1995, and Batman and Robin in 1997. The initial 1989 film starred Michael Keaton as the titular iconic superhero, while Jack Nicholson starred opposite Keaton as the equally iconic supervillain, the Joker. The film was wildly successful, being both critically acclaimed and a commercial triumph. It was the sixth highest grossing film of all time at the time of its release. The modern image of the Batman character is widely credited to have began with the 1989 film. The success of the film also led to the development of the widely popular Batman the Animated Series, which ran from 1992 to 1995. The success of that series, in turn, began the DC animated universe of spin-off media that has continued to this very day. It cannot be understated the lasting effect that the 1989 Batman film had on not only the Batman or DC brand, but Hollywood's modern marketing and development techniques of the superhero film genre. Batman 1989 is widely regarded as one of the greatest superhero films ever made, with Keaton's Batman and Nicholson's Joker becoming blueprints for the characters moving forward.
You're going to run into somebody new at Taco Bell. He's Batman, and Taco Bell's got him. On 4 collectible Batman cups. Just buy a 32-ounce drink and your cup refills and new cinnamon twists are all free. I want you to tell all your friends about me. Tell them to drive, fly, or just drop by today to collect your free Batman cups. Only at Taco Bell.
Batman '89 was one of the first films to have 2 accompanying soundtracks, the film's original score album, which was composed by Danny Elfman, and the official soundtrack album crafted by Prince. Much like the waning popularity of the title character, Prince's success in the late 80s was seen as a shadow of what he had achieved earlier in the decade. He was by no means a flop, but when you're a star of Prince's caliber, your success becomes equated to numbers by critics. 1984's Purple Rain was a culturally shifting moment in pop music history, cementing Prince as an icon, but he'd had yet to match that level of success since. Coincidentally, Warner Brothers was both the studio backing the Batman film, while Prince was signed to Warner Brothers Records. Prince's involvement in the soundtrack was designed to leverage the media company's contract-bound talent, as well as fulfill the artist's need for a commercial revival. Essentially, it was an attempt to simultaneously revitalize the popularity of Batman, while also refreshing Prince's identity and popularity as well. It was a move that would prove to be a win-win for Warner Brothers. In the initial stages of the soundtrack's development, Batman film director Tim Burton used Prince's hits like 1999 and Baby I'm a Star as placeholders during early post-production, and liked their inclusion so much that he personally contacted Prince to use them. It wasn't until January of 1989, when visiting the set for Batman, that Prince decided to contribute to the soundtrack, but decided to re-record new material instead. Prince was reportedly so interested in being a part of the film that he considered canceling his ongoing Lovesexy tour. In a 2010 Rolling Stone interview, Prince actually revealed that the project was initially supposed to be a collaboration between himself and Michael Jackson. Allegedly, Prince would have sung the funk songs for the villains, while Michael would have sung ballads for the heroes. This never came to fruition, as Michael was busy with his Bad World Tour at the time and was already signed with Epic Records, the label he had been with since 1975, while the film itself was a Warner Brothers production. It's worth noting that this was the 4th time in recorded history that an attempted collaboration between the 2 musical juggernauts fell through. The first was in 1985, when Prince turned down an invitation to sing with Michael and others on the massively successful charity single, We Are the World. The second attempt was in 1987, when Quincy Jones invited Prince to duet with Michael on the title track of his 1987 album, Bad. Prince turned down this offer on the grounds of him not agreeing with part of the lyrics. Later that same year, Prince tried to send a song to Michael titled Wouldn't You Love to Love Me, but Michael turned that down. The Batman soundtrack was recorded in just 6 weeks, being worked on from February to late March of 1989. Prince was notorious for being able to complete projects in a relatively short amount of time. The lyrics of each song are associated with one of the characters in the film, and the album's liner notes are actually credited to those characters and not Prince himself. Strengthening the soundtrack's overall sense of cohesion is the use of dialogue and sound bites taken directly from the film itself. This is most notable in the beginning of the first track, The Future, which features dialogue of Michael Keaton speaking as Batman, and the album's lead single and final track, Batdance, which is composed mostly of dialogue from the film. The Batman era also marked a change in Prince's appearance. He switched out the elaborate costumes, polka dots, and lace from the lovesexy era for much simpler, often darker attire. Because Batman is legally a part of the Batman franchise, Prince had to agree to withdraw any rights to the material he produced on the album, thus preventing any of the songs or videos from the soundtrack from being officially used by Prince. Since even the name Batman is copywritten, Prince often replaced the name of the album with just the name Scandalous on official concert shirts or album lists. Even the album cover, which features nothing but the Batman symbol, retains the trademark symbol on it. The album's first track, The Future, is a minimalist funk number which imagines a dystopian reality where a bleak future looms unless the oppressed can find a spirituality that will last. It is sung from the point of view of Batman. The song flows seamlessly into the classic Prince jam, Electric Chair, one of 3 songs on the album that was recorded before Prince took on the Batman project. Because of this, it lacks any clear reference to The Dark Knight. The clearest link is in the way Prince channels criminality to stress his desire, saying his thoughts are so dirty and inappropriate that he should be put to death for all his future crimes. While the previous track was sung from Batman's point of view, Electric Chair switches sides, being sung from the Joker's point of view. Track 3, The Arms of Orion, is a duet ballad between Prince and singer Sheena Easton. The song represents the characters of Bruce Wayne and Vicky Vale speaking to one another. Party Man was the second single and is an upbeat funk number. It was also one of the few songs to actually get prominent placement in the film. The mid-tempo pop song Vicky Waiting is track 5 on the album and was another one that Prince had already recorded prior. The upbeat funky song Trust follows as track 6. The film originally placed Prince's Baby I'm a Star as a temporary track during the Joker's parade of toxic balloons. Prince was to come up with an original song to substitute in. His original submission, titled 200 Balloons, was rejected for being too sonically dissimilar to Baby I'm a Star. Trust was then written and recorded specifically to mimic the feel of Baby I'm a Star and to fit the rhythm of the scene. Track 7 is Lemon Crush and is written from the perspective of Vicky Vale. The penultimate track is the sexually charged Scandalous. Arguably the most Prince-esque song on the entire album, the song appears during the end credits of the Batman film. Notably, the melody of Scandalous was incorporated into the official score for Batman. Thus, Prince is also credited on the score as being a composer for the love theme.
Winged freak terrorizes. Wait till they get a load of me.
The final song on the Batman soundtrack is the bombastic Batdance. The aforementioned song 200 Balloons that was cut from the soundtrack was remixed using sounds and dialogue from the film, resulting in the Batdance song. Warner Brothers decided to release the song as the album's lead single, seeing it as a key marketing tool for the film. Batdance was actually a last-minute replacement for a brooding track titled Dance with the Devil, which Prince felt was too dark. The song remains unreleased to this day. Batdance is almost 2 songs in one, a chaotic mechanical dance beat that changes gears into a slinky, funky groove before changing back for the song's conclusion. The track is an amalgam of many musical ideas that Prince has had at the time, including elements from several songs, both from the Batman album as well as other unreleased cuts. Batdance is also notable for being one of the first times where Prince dabbled in sampling. Released on June 8, 1989 as the lead single from the Batman album, the song became a #1 hit in the United States, being Prince's first #1 since his song Kiss reached the top spot 3 years prior in 1986.
Eyes off it.
What are you?
I'm Batman. Critics rave Batman could be the movie of the decade. Rated PG-13. Now playing.
The Batman soundtrack album was officially released on June 20th, 1989, serving as both a companion to the film as well as Prince's 11th studio album overall. The album and its parent film became yet another massively successful cross-media endeavor for Warner Brothers, much like Purple Rain had been 5 years earlier. The album stayed at #1 on the Billboard 200 for 6 consecutive weeks, being Prince's first #1 album since Around the World in a Day in 1985. The Batman album is a hidden gem in the expansive catalog of Prince, one that doesn't get nearly as much attention as his other higher-profile releases. What makes this album so special is the level of artistic care and dedication that Prince gave to it. The album is stunningly cohesive. Its seamless use of samples from the film immerses the listener in the project. Above all else, the Batman album feels like a Prince album rather than a Batman soundtrack album sung by Prince. He approached this record with the same level of care as any of his other albums, which speaks to the type of artist that Prince was. Anything with his name attached to it would have to be something that was of quality and something that he was proud of. The Batman soundtrack could be seen as a precursor to other high-profile artists approaching soundtracks as they would a genuine body of work. In true Prince fashion, Batman is not merely a soundtrack, it's a carefully crafted, immersive experience that stands on its own, reflecting his vision, commitment to artistry, and relentless creativity.